All right, so here's a question I'm gonna ask you. Does anybody remember just one of the very foundations or um, the base of selling, and one of the first points that I gave last week? If you do, go ahead and share it. If you don't fret it. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. I remember saying one of the first things based on the baseline of selling, right? The very first point I gave, and I talked about what you believe, what you embrace, and what you know. You know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it this week, but I just want you to note if you attempt to do this stuff and shortcut it, shortchange it, and cheat yourself, don't expect to get there. I don't care what new company pops up. I don't care what leader's in it. It's not going to equal your success. Only thing that's going to equal that is you. And I'm going to tell each of this here now because I can be intimate, even though it's being recorded. I can tell you this. I can tell you that you do not get there just because, someone was good. It's okay if you didn't. You'll get it. I'll make sure you get it, sir. It's on our YouTube channel, and I'm not sure who invited you, but if you tell me, just put your email address in the window, I will actually send it to you. Embrace the clock. Absolutely. That's one of them. That's right. There's several things you have to embrace. And what's frightening is we want to make it complicated. I'm looking at you. I gotta see me. Yeah. We're making it complicated. It doesn't have to be. So I'm going to tell you, yes, you're going to hear from gurus from everywhere that you just have to buy their $5,000 or $10,000 package. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to hear others tell you, just spend 8 to 15 grand in your advertising. You're going to become great. Let me tell you something. Long-term wealth is built today, the same way it was built 100 years ago before technology came. So you can go by the route that allows you to get it quickly and lose it quickly. You can get this stuff, build it, grow it, so your family legacy, long after you're dead and gone, is still moving forward. So there you go. That one was for free. Let's go ahead and get out to this week's, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm guessing you can see my screen. I will see people coming in. Don't fret that as they come in. So it's not starting soon. It's actually started. Go with nature, right? And the interesting thing is when you sell, because you're selling a product, most people believe they need a 4-year degree. They need to have all these groundbreaking things, but you do it already as nature is giving you the ability to do. You just don't get paid for the selling you do now. Some of you sell people on the very favorite car or favorite sports team. You sell people on your favorite drink. You sell people on the best restaurant, and you don't even know you're doing it. And it's so natural. You don't need any special ads or keywords. You don't need all kinds of special systems. You use you. So I'm gonna get into that, but I want you to get this. It's natural. You already do it. So last week we talked on the idea of the baseline of I forgot what it was, but I think we talked about last week. I mentioned the baseline of your selling. Oh, that's for this one. I think I grabbed the wrong slideshow. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's last week's. I'm going to go ahead and get out of that and going to bring up the other one. Hang tight. Just take me a minute. I'm not as young as some of you all. I don't want to have the wrong thing here. I need to get jiggy with it, if you will. Okay, I grabbed the wrong one. Go ahead, Mr. Golan. All right, let me see. Nature with you. 54. This is got to be it. Oh, part 2. There it is. Okay, got you. All right. Stay with me. All right, sharing the screen. If you can see it with me, I'm going to go ahead and share it now. If there's anybody coming in, somebody's coming in. I got to admit them real quick. There you go. All right. And now here we go. Can you see my screen? Okay, now maybe go ahead and back at it. Make sure you can see it. I'm going to get the right one, baby. Desktop 1. Here we go. All right, can you see my screen? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Now, I'm going to talk today on the baseline of your model. And I want you to get this. I know you've been taught about your model. Your model's got to have all kinds of complication. It's got to have all kinds of special amount of investments into the coolest of ads, marketing systems, and all kinds of special ding zing pages. And those aren't bad. But if those things exist without you, you're going to find out today where you may be going wrong and why your income's not growing, although your expenses are. So I'm going to start by what you say. Ooh, what you say, the baseline of what you say. Now, if you're an internet marketer and you build your income solely on what you've put out there, and the stuff you put out there, let me make sure I can see people coming in. Shoot, I got to look at both things. Good Lord. Okay. If you build your income based on, wait a minute, what screen do you see, guys? What do you see on my screen?
The baseline of your model.
Okay, thank you. That was Rhonda. Thank you, Rhonda. Okay, so if you build this based on these many things that exist out there, and you have everything done only automatic, right? And those things that are automatic were just because you purchased them or they were given to you, but there's nothing resembling of you and what you say. You're going to find that there's a real challenge, because when it comes to selling, what you say, every word is purposeful, every single word. So if I use my guru's message or his video or her video only, I don't have much. Unless what they're saying is leading me to my end goal. What you say is what it's about. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't know what you have, you don't have anything to say. You just think you do. If you don't know exactly what it is that you believe about what you have, then trust me, what you say will be arbitrary. It will become null and void. So many of you today, you're going to find out that many people that literally say no to you for your business are not saying no to your business. They're saying no to you. I'm going to ask you to mute your lines if you could. Thank you very much. You're going to find that what you say has not had the right fuel or the right fertilizer. That's a huge challenge. So what you say, you're going to find that the baseline of this is what it's all about. Now, what you say on a page, what you say in the message to someone when they opt into you, what you say when you inbox someone, what you say to someone is really the very core of your selling. And if your words are random, and if your words are constantly using company names, product names, right? Everything but the real substance that is important to them, you lost. What you say is key. So if you didn't write it, get it. What you say is essential. Now, it's not just what you say for your model, it's also what you do. It's so interesting. I was taught that a good leader goes nowhere alone. And many have said, what do you mean by that, Dwayne? Well, I'm going to tell you, in this idea of truly leading people and going somewhere, you can't lead people where you won't go. It just disturbs me how someone who is out there trying to recruit people haven't done specific things, but they have all the expectation on the people they're bringing in, and they wonder why they don't reproduce. And this causes something. This causes people to literally come in and say that their downline is lazy. Oftentimes, the only thing missing is a very big mirror. Well, they're not recruiting, they're not doing anything, and they miss the point. It's not only what you say, it's what you do. And what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear anything you're saying. What you do is key. If you're going to sell well, and trust me, if you're not going to sell, I don't care how much you make, it's not long-term. Your selling has got to include the basic elements that were given in life. So here we go. What you say, yes. What you do, absolutely. Interestingly enough, I see someone online all the time. They're so frustrated that nobody's doing what they say, right? And all they do is they constantly show that they have to constantly disturb their ability to know what to say and what to think. And so they're constantly putting the stuff that they're putting in their body on their page. And then they say, well, nobody wants to make money with me. And they get angry. And dude, what you're doing is speaking so loud. They don't care what product you have. They don't care what word you have. And here's where I'm going to help you all out. I want you to see the true value in when you put these things together, where you go with it. So here you go. It's not just, oh, here we go. It's going to keep doing this to me. Keep sending me back and forth. Okay. It's not just what you say. It's what you do. Your model, if your model begins with things, systems, and processes, and it ends with things, systems, and processes, your selling, your signing people up will be anemic. If it's all about, if it begins, ends with things and systems, and it has little or nothing to do with you, you're going to find that your selling is anemic. It's got to be based on what you say and what you do. And also, watch this now, what you teach. We got a sick environment in network marketing and home business where everybody wants to develop a large team, but the things that are necessary for it, they don't do. All they do is want to sign a new person. You know, if all I did was went around and I've met someone, and then of course I wanted to see how long it takes me to get to sign them up to spend the night with me, and then after that I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want, if all I do is that and go get new people, no wonder at the end of the year, if you sign 8 people by August, watch this, by December you have no one, because you don't have the elements for duplication. You just don't. You just don't. It's amazing that most of you can recruit people to your favorite store and keep them for life. You can recruit people to the favorite car that of all the cool stuff it has, because you know all about it and you believe it and you show it because that's what you drive. Then you teach people all the cool stuff. You tell them where the cool websites are where they can find out more about it. You teach them exactly when the sales are, how they can get this, that, and the other and get a discount. You spend everything you have into it, and what you say, what you do, and what you teach has made you a great recruiter in things that don't pay you. That's why if you like the Philadelphia Eagles, why you got at least 5 to 20 other people in your lifetime that follow you now and still like them. You missed the point. You can start getting paid for selling. But what you say, what you do, and what you teach are essential. And here's what's interesting. You don't know what to say if you don't know what you have. Some of you, it's amazing, could be in a company for a year. Some of you have already done it maybe for 2 years or 3. And you don't know. You just know enough. Only thing you care about is getting your link and trying to figure out what you can post. And you didn't know why nobody joins you. You don't know anything. Can I tell you something? I have built huge organizations, but I couldn't do it by doing nothing. I had to learn everything about it to give people a reason to want to follow me, to give them a reason to trust me, so I could know what to say. So when someone asked me, and when I had a health product, when they asked me, so is this approved by the FDA? Well, the cool thing is nutraceuticals are neither approved nor disapproved. The FDA does not review them for approval. And what's interesting is I learned everything about what I had to do so that people could follow me. And it was so, I learned that if I do that, not just my team follows me, but other teams will follow me. Because now when I said things, they were of substance. They were not just of selling. Now here's something I want you to note. Think of human nature. You all know when you were dating, if you are dating or were, you know that when you met someone, if all they did was talked about themselves or their accolades, you were bored out of your wits. You didn't care what they looked like or smelt like. Isn't it interesting with network marketing? Someone has to, all they have to do is tell you, all they really have to do is tell you that they made $3,000 on the weekend. And that's enough. And then when you find out there's nothing in that except air, now you've already spent your 1,000 or 2,000 to join them, and there was nothing there. You know why that is? Not because they're bad people, because they don't even know what they have. They spend more time in trying to get new people before they take care of business. So let me tell you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead before I'm going to go ahead and share my face for a second because I want to get this out. I have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Could you imagine what it would be like? Let's say I have 3 children one 16, one 9, and one 5. The 16-year-old is doing 5 to 15 in a federal state prison as being tried as an adult for his actions for hurting someone. My 9-year-old was put in a boys' home at school for attacking other children. My 5-year-old has been catching the neighborhood garages on fire. So now the children and youth have taken him. Could you imagine this for a moment? If I go to you and say, could you help? Could you pray for me? My wife and I are trying to see if we can have some more children. What would you think of me? Somebody tell me. I want you to see where the error in judgment is and what all of you are doing and following and what you're seeing. How much sense would it make if I seek more children when I do nothing with the ones I have? Somebody would give me an answer with your microphone, because I feed off of your energy.
That's a no-go.
Who said that?
Rhonda?
Rhonda, it's a no-go. Can I tell you something? Some of you are guilty. You're not guiltless, you're guilty. You signed up for something and you gave it no time. You signed someone up, and once you got them in, the only thing you did was spend time posting how much money you made off of them, but you didn't prepare them for their success. So as they fail, you might call them lazy and think that they are just no good. You don't know why they're not doing anything. And the truth is, you're the reason. Selling there's so much more. When I sold years ago, I had to sell cars. And the sale wasn't getting someone to buy initially. It was what happens after the sale. What you did after the sale meant that when they're ready to trade in, they're coming back to you. It meant that on their birthday, they got a card from me. It meant that you literally have a symbiotic relationship. And here's where everybody's gone wrong. We've gone fickle. We follow metrics. We follow the data only. Someone over there said they made 200,000. So now we leave our own family because someone else is over there, and then we find out when we get there it was hollow, and then we try to come back, and then we just keep this vicious cycle going, and it's ugly. That's why so many people can be scammed. Something new's coming out, someone says that one person's doing it or all are doing it, and they go. So here's the deal. You got to know what you have if you're going to develop them. A mother knows something about life so she can prepare her child for it. She knows something, and what she doesn't know, she learns. She's eager and hungry. You all, I don't care what kind of company you're in, and I want you to get this. You've gone foul. You've gone wrong when all you want is a link to get people in and a page to get them to sign up on. There's so much more. I would tell you, I have built business with sleepless nights, working while others were sleeping, working while others are playing, learning while others were partying. And guess what? It made me the go-to guy where other companies would call me and help me prepare their leaders. That wasn't because I'm smart or good. It's because I put my time in. So if somebody's telling you that you're going to get rich just because you joined them at a specific level, you are falling for your own lie. It's not how it works. You can build a lot of wealth, but you're not going to build it on luck or accidents. So here we go. Oh my goodness. How can I know what to say? Because I know what I have. If you're a part of our company and you're part of Investor 7.0, right? It means you got to know. Somebody said, what do I get at this level? Why don't you know that? Why can't you go and look? Why don't you go ahead and check out the however many videos you need to? Hey, I was going to set the autoresponder up. Where do I get it from? Guess what? Go look. Go watch. Ask some questions. Spend time in it. Because then when it's your turn, you can duplicate. You can't duplicate what doesn't exist. You're like a family who needs to see a geneticist because they're trying to have babies, they ain't coming. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you can get back to the genetics and you can learn what you have. Why is it that after 1 year, why is it after 1 month, why is it after 2 months, why is it after 6 months, you still don't know? Because surfing Facebook is funner. Binging on Netflix is more fun. So now, yes, I'm going to get to what to say, but you can't know what to say until you know what you have. And I say this is my recipe for money, is to know more than everybody else. So anybody else that's doing it, I got to know more than them. That's just my style. You do it how you do it. Maybe you're one that just needs to know just enough, right? Maybe you're the one who gets one sale and you become lazy. Maybe you're someone who doesn't know these things. So when I get to the meat and potatoes in a few minutes, you're going to find that you too can be successful, but you can't do it taking shortcuts, cheating. You can't do it cutting corners, manipulating people with lies. That way you get the sale and you call that success. And you know what's really hurts me, my feelings? What really gets to me? As soon as someone makes $2,000, before they introduce themselves to the person that signed up and they walk them through what to do, they're posting on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, I just made $2,000. That's when you miss the whole point. Wouldn't it be interesting? When my wife and I were getting ready to make my oldest son, all I go is out and tell my friends I got luck. Hey, look, I got some last night. Look how ugly that is. Look how stupid that is. I want you to know, more important what people think of you is what you do. What you do is where the money comes from. If you go back through the years, if you go back 10 years ago, this message is the exact same coming out of these lips. So when you talk to someone, they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, I got to be honest with you. It's not really my style, but I got mad respect for a dude because you know what? He's consistent. I made good money when I was with him. They're going to say that not because of who I am, but because of the principles that God put here. So now, when you know what you have, then you know what to say, and then you know what to do. And when you do those things, now you have something to teach your new people. How many of you got started a business in the last 2 years, and someone didn't know what to say to you, nor did they know what to do, and they certainly didn't teach anything? They gave you a link. How many of you experienced that? Am I the only one that's experienced that kind of thing? So what do? Let's look at the baseline of what you ask. You see, knowing what to say is so important because this category of knowing what to ask is important. Isn't it interesting that it's so easy to tell someone to inbox us, but when we do, we're nervous as all get up because we don't know what to ask. We don't know what to say or ask. And you can't know unless you know what you have. It's so interesting that how knowing what you have takes care of most of it. If you're with Infinity 1000, if you're with the new Daisy, if you're with Investment, the principles work the same for any place. So I'm not really trying to pitch anything to anyone. I just want you to get your heads together. That the real success comes from the person in which was put in the crib after you were born. The one you look in the mirror, the one you put makeup on or shave. That's where the real success comes from. So here's the question. What's the purpose of the questions that you ask? Right? What is the purpose? So what do I do when I see posts? This is what I see. It's just my personality. It's just the way my brain works. I see a lot of people who aren't sure what they have. Therefore, they don't know what to say. So the posts are more than random. The posts are just posts, right? The posts are just posts. It's not really connected to the sell. I'm getting to the sell. So if you want to learn how to sell, don't skip over the meat and potatoes. Go ahead and take this in. Knowing the right question. What's the purpose of the question? So for me, in the sales process, I'm going to tell you what the purpose of the question is. Would anyone like to take a guess of the purpose of your questions when you're talking about selling? Don't worry, you can't go wrong. And I encourage people when you do give an answer, even if it's not the same one I'm thinking of, so you don't have to worry about that. But I want to make sure you're engaged so you get it. Anyone get it? Want to take a wild guess at what the purposes of these questions are?
Dwayne, Andy B from the UK. I would say I would ask them what their desire or their dream is in life.
What's the purpose of that question though? What's the end goal of the question? What do you think that is, Andy?
To convert them.
Yeah.
I need to become a friend. I need them to buy me. People buy people rather than the product. Then I can then take that on for years to come, and they will always be my customer.
Thank you, Andy. Anyone else? That was very good. Thank you.
I would say to find out what they really need. So we ask them the question.
Okay, that's also good. Pastor Roy, let me tell you something. Those are both very good. So there's no wrong there. Let me tell you, when it comes to nature and it comes to getting a specific response, it requires specific questions. So the purpose of the question is so they give you enough information so that you can join, so they can join with you. I see so much randomness out there, both Andy and Roy. I see people who just ask, "Hey, so what are you doing? What is your business offer? What kind of company do you guys have?" They're most crazy questions. They have nothing to do with anything. You see, when you know what you have, and like the last week's training, when you actually care about the people you're talking to, they're not just a number. They're not just a notch in the belt. They're not just another trophy. Well, they're not just another post that you just made money from. Then you ask questions that you really actually genuinely care about. And when you ask those questions, like Andy said, what are your desires? What are you dreaming? Whatever they tell you is going to help you sign them up. It just does. When your questions are random, you're random, and when they give you a random answer, you're disappointed and you feel let down. The purpose of the question is everything, and the question won't come out right if you don't know the other things. So last week is going to be important. I know some of you said you didn't get to watch it yet. Go watch it, because I talk about the importance of the intimacy of that relationship between you and the other buyer. It's sick where the world's gone. The world's gone to what's called guerrilla marketing. That's one person messaging everybody. So now they all fit. All sizes fit the same. Could you imagine when you were dating another person and you treated you ladies, you treat every guy the exact same, or guys, when you're single, you treat every girl the same? See how foolish that is? So your marketing is one big post to everybody in the market. And there's no real connection between that and then signing up with you. You could get what's wrong with it. So imagine this. Here's the question. Whatever it is, watch this question now. Listen, I'm going to send you a link. You and I have known each other for a while, but you know what? I want you to look at this thing. It's going to take 5 to 7 minutes. I want you to look at it, to watch it, and call me back. Will you watch it? My purpose and my question has several things that are not included. I'm never going to ask a question about a company name or a company product. Those things don't matter if I don't know about the person at all. So like Andy said, I'm going to find out. So what is it? What reason would you ever want to get into a business anyway? I mean, I love being an entrepreneur and having business, and I love the money it brings, but why would you want to do it? When I ask that question, whatever their answer is tells me where to put my focus. Now, when I ask that question, if the person says, well, because I just love my family, I just want to make sure we're all well-to-do, we're good to go so that we can stay together. Well, I'm not going to focus on how much money they can make. My response is going to focus on how to give them that cultural family that they want. So with this business, right, you're able to be freed up because of the revenue that you make from the business. You're able to get more time with your husband or your wife and those lovely kids. But when it's random, of course, you're not signing up a person, you're signing up another trophy, another notch in your belt. But when you ask the right question, when you know the purpose of the question, it's not tough anymore. Now it's not 1 out of 100 that you talk to sign up with you, because now they're not just objects, they're actual people. When you ask someone, so what reason are you what are you looking to gain from having your own business, right? If you get started. When they tell you, well, ever since my divorce or ever since my spouse died, it's just been a real challenge. Just trying to get my feet in order, and get out of some of the debt that I have, that I inherited, right? Now you know where to focus. Now your words can be personal. Watch how much sense this makes. When I ask questions, I use the person's name. If I write email messages, I use the person's name. I don't like guerrilla marketing. I don't like sterile communication. I like it personal. Anybody here ever talk to me, either in writing or me talk to you personally? Anybody here?
I have had emails from you, Dwayne, addressed to me personally, and comes through to my email address, and it says, "Hi, Andy B," and it does make me feel that I know you, and that it gives me the confidence then to invest in your business because you spoke to me. Normally, as you know, you can do that with the bracket thing in an autoresponder, but um, even that helps because people feel it's more personal from a company than just listening to a load of old pasted from a notepad or something like that, a standard answer to their question. If you put their name in it, they think you're actually talking to them, and therefore they will respond to you, and you can then vary your answers to their desires.
Thank you, Andy. Anybody here ever talk to me? Even though you never met me personally, have I ever actually physically or verbally talked to you, maybe by a phone call, a Telegram or Instagram or Facebook call? Somehow we communicated. Anybody?
No.
Oh, we've never talked?
No.
Whoever said that. We never talked through Zoom. Okay. If we have, you'll note I use your name when I talk to you. For those who that I've spoken to, right? I know I've never spoke with you, Brother Walden or Nahas, right? But some of the others, I know, Pastor Roy, I've spoken to you. And I never talked to you without using that. I never talked to you without saying Pastor Roy.
Mhm.
Because there is no sell without an intimacy. And I'm not selling you anything, but you get the point. It's how I communicate in general, because I know that that's where we actually have something together. People don't make financial commitments, religious commitments, or political commitments with strangers. They just doesn't fit. Jackie, I spoke with you. I remember the first couple of times, maybe 6 months ago or so, I found you were on a Zoom or a live Zoom. I've never approached without calling your name. I don't do that with anybody. So here's what I want you to get. There's a purpose. There's a purpose in how I ask the question. There's a purpose in the question. And most importantly, I'm never going to talk to someone without knowing more about them. I want to know what about you. So if I know you, I probably know a little about what you do outside of home business, right? If I have any time with you at all, and there's a reason for that. And I want you to get this. This is going to differentiate you. When I started in network marketing, I had to find out the hard way that my first day I was expected to duplicate, but I knew I didn't know what to do. It's no problem. They took time with me and walked me through it. So guess what I did when I signed people up? I didn't know any better. I spent time with them and I said, listen, here's how it's going to work. For now, you don't know it. You're going to learn. I'm going to be training you. So if you have any prospects, make sure they watch the video. And when they're done, you can call me with them on the phone. And I'll ask them the questions. I want you to learn how I ask it. And this would repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. So the purpose of the question is to gain more information because they're going to tell you how to sign them up. The prospect is going to tell you how to sign them up, and they always do. We're human beings. When you know how much I love my family, when you know how much I miss my mother and love my father, you probably have enough information to recruit me to want to eat at that favorite restaurant because you know enough. But when I really get down to it, and I tell you what my struggles are, when I tell you I had 53 surgeries, all my breast tissue removed, 17 plastic surgeries on my legs, colorectal surgery. When I tell you I've been through it, I'm giving you enough information to get to me. It's not on purpose, it's because I'm human. When you know that much about someone, now we're no longer strangers. Didn't you ever notice the people that are most familiar with you, those are the ones that ask to borrow money? It's not accidental. So let's go ahead. The purpose of the question. And what they answer actually does give you enough information to sign them, but they can't do it if you don't listen. You know what I've experienced, Brother Walden? When people are talking to a prospect, they ask him a question, and before the person answers, they start answering. They keep talking. This is a person that has a one-way of communication. They have a narcissistic way of communicating. It's not on purpose. It's just some people have it. They say, wouldn't that be nice, huh? If you made that kind of money? They don't even wait to let the person answer. They say, yes, it would. So it's like this. Pastor Roy, I'm going to ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Pastor Roy.
Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be wonderful, even if you earned an additional $1,000 a month?
It'd be great.
Now watch what that's the way it should work, right? Now watch the way it happens when a lot of you talk to prospects, especially you overwhelm them and blitz them inside of Facebook and Facebook groups. It's the worst thing to do. You lose all intimacy and strength when you do that. But watch this. Hey, Pastor Roy, so if you were able to get, even if I helped you to get one person, only one person a month, that's an additional $1,000 a month. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would.
Yes, it would. And now I'm gonna show you the next thing. That's what most people do in this industry. You lose the intimacy. You know what I see now? They ask someone to inbox them, and as soon as they want to know a little bit, they throw them into a group with vultures, and everybody starts talking to them and overwhelming them. And now you're never gonna get a sell like that. It's crazy. But you can be intimate. If you don't like talking to groups, you can be intimate with the person you deal with. So now, the purpose of the question, to get the information needed that they're going to give you to sign them up. And what the answer tells you, it really is enough if you just listen and shut your pie hole until they're done. Now, what do you do with the answer? I'm going to tell you what you do with the answer. Write this down. What you do with the answer is equips you for the next thing you say. You don't come up with that on your own. You don't force your autoresponder on them. You don't force your medical juice on them. You don't force your trading bot on them. What they tell you is enough to tell you what to say next. You can't already know what to say next. So when someone tells me that a man tells me he lost his wife 2 years ago, he's interested in business, he just wants to kind of get back on his feet again, I know now what to say. And my next word is not funnel. My next word is not autoresponder or page builder. My next word isn't trading bot. My next word isn't the name of my company. My next words have better complement what he just told me. Now watch how this is. Whatever the prospect answers you, the first thing out of your lips should validate them. Here's what I mean by validation. Okay, I can understand that. I mean, my heart goes out to you. I couldn't imagine what that's like, but I certainly can see why a business would be valuable for you. Before I say anything about business, I must validate them if we're going to go anywhere together, and not fake validation by like just coming out with a lot of words. Mean it. Only say what I'm going to mean. In this case, my heart goes out to you. I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to lose someone and have 4 little kids to raise on your own. And so, man, my heart goes out to you. You're obviously a strong person. God bless you. I'm going to do something to validate whatever they said. And if they just said they lost their job, I'm going to validate it. I'll say, wow, that had to be a shocker. 2020 has been tough for everyone. And I'm so sad that this is happening to you. I will validate their words before I force mine on them. Ooh. Huh?
Beautiful. Definitely.
Because the challenge is you all have been sold this way. You couldn't get any words out, and everything that comes out the other person's mouth is link, their products, prices, their company name, and something that's lost, and they think you're telling them no. And what's really happening is you're saying no because you're tired of being a number. Oh, Lord.
Streets network.
So, what you must do with the answer, first, validate them. Second, you have a response. You see, animals react with their instincts because that's all they have. We are human beings. We have the ability. God's given us the ability to have an intellect that can give a response. We can think about what we've heard and then respond. So watch what this sounds like in either scenario. First scenario, a man has lost his spouse and has 4 kids left. Then watch my response after I validated them. Got it. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Like it's already not easy for you. I will tell you, with a little bit of work, the sky's the limit. With a little bit of work, I can assist you in bringing in additional income for you and your family. I know it's not easy. This way, if you start over again, you can choose someone based on who you desire, not based on financial needs. So, did you guys hear what I said? Did I mention a company name? Did I? Yes or no?
No,
Did I mention a product?
no.
It's still about the prospect. When you want to sign up a lot of people, it's because your focus is not you and your things. It's not you and your product and you and your company. When you really get that in your head, you will learn to sell instead of running from it. Instead of falling for the no selling needed. When someone tells you that, trust me, they don't want you to be wealthy, and they're selling you in the very thing that they're telling you doesn't exist. So now I can assist you, but it's going to take some commitments on your level. It doesn't matter how you say it, but I make it about them. But I got to ask you, do you have, I know you've been through a lot. Do you have enough commitment to give towards a business? Not a lot, but at least a few hours a day. At least if you do even 2 hours a day, I can assist you in building a business. Do you have that much left in your tank? Right? They're going to say yes or no. I'm going to always put them in position to participate and drive their own future. I'm not going to force my future on them. I'm going to make them have to commit to it. Because too often people are being manipulated with lies rather than letting the person own the responsibility in their success. Trickery. Look at this over here. 4,000 yesterday. I know a guy on our team just got a new Rolls Royce. He just got a company car. We use all this crap and we don't allow the person to be involved, and no wonder they can't produce anything. Ooh. So now, the other scenario, if a person is just, let's just say they've been out of work for a while, I get it. And you know what? The job you lost, I'm sure it was good for you between your benefits and the money you made, but I'm gonna tell you something. You can supersede that. You really can. With half the time, you put in 40 hours a week or 60, with 15 to 20 hours a week, I can assist you in creating a fortune. But it's going to take that level of commitment. And if you got that in you, certainly you can build true wealth. You see, when you talk right, here's what doesn't happen. The reason a lot of people ask you, well, how much did you make so far? It's because of the way you do it. You have sterile marketing involved. It's all about things and bells and whistles and dollar amounts. No wonder they ask it. It has nothing to do with them. You see, when you prospect, somebody's got to mute themselves. They're getting back feedback. Hey, when you prospect people and it's based on them and their well-being, they're not asking you about you. They're trying to see how do they measure up. Is it possible for them? I'm going to stop for a second and see if there are any questions, because I need you guys to get this. I don't want to I'm not in a speed race. I need to make sure you get where you've been going wrong, and all this busyness and spending has not, I want you to know why it's not returning money so that you can now narrow the focus. And let's get back to it. Hey, you got an advantage, Pastor Roy. You're involved in a vocation that is all about serving people. I'm going to tell you something. The greatest long-term wealth builders in network marketing and home business, they are people who are servants. They serve people. I'm a servant. If you met me 10 years ago, you heard me say it just that way. I was taught as a young man, if I wanted to be a great leader, I'd have to be an excellent servant. And you know what? I serve people, which means I inconvenience myself on behalf of others when it's necessary. If it's always about me, well, then I'm not going to get in front of you with a polo shirt. I'm going to get in front of you with diamonds and stuff. I'm going to spend most of my time showing you what I drive and walking you through one of my places where I live. I'm going to try to spend all this time trying to impress you rather than caring about you, but I'm a servant. And I'm more concerned for you than I am for, I'm good. I'm concerned for you. But I tell you what I won't do as a servant. I will not help you hurt yourself. So if you want to be lazy, I'm telling you, if you ever dealt with me, I don't pull any punches. I don't care what your vocation is and what your age is. If in fact you're trying the lazy route, I don't know how to serve someone and do it artificially. So I'm going to be straight with you. If you spend most of your time catching all your favorite TV shows and doing all that stuff, and then you want me to do the work for you, I won't do that. I want you to do it. So are there any questions or comments so far about anything I covered? And it's okay if the comment is or the question. They say silence is golden.
Quick question. Is this being recorded?
Depends on who's talking.
This is Naja.
Hi, Naja. Yes, it is, my dear. It's been
Oh, very good.
yes. I try to record everything unless I'm saying things that are not appropriate for the public on your behalf. I believe in privacy big time. So if I come out and say something about you and your account, I'm gonna kind of like it's not.
I
But yes, it's being
appreciate that.
recorded. Of course. But do you have any comments about anything I covered, Naja?
No, just that it's
No.
good stuff. I'm taking notes.
Okay. Someone else say something before I go back to the screen?
I was saying no. You were just concentrating on the individual.
Yes.
Right.
It's like life. Could you imagine? I learned this growing up as a teenager. I played football and I wrestled. And I didn't know, I had only brothers and no sisters. I didn't know how to talk to girls. So I thought telling that I'm the school, I'm the running back for my school. I'm the fastest guy. I have the fastest takedown in wrestling. That's how I approached the opposite sex because I didn't know any better. And then I learned that it doesn't matter about any of those things because now I've made it so she doesn't matter. When I learned that, it like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been doing wrong. So I had to flip my focus early on in life and stop focusing on me and mine and focus on the object or the other person or the other, we call it the other side of the eyeballs. In philosophy, they call it the philosophy of the other minds. Put the focus there and watch how cool this is. You can have whatever you want when you learn to serve others and their needs. Give people what they need. You can have everything you want. And I've learned that. Watch how powerful this is. I've learned that is the perfect win-win. Everybody wins. So let's get out here.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sure.
This is Naja. So what you just said, is that based on like I've listened to other motivational speakers and they tell you to tell your story. So what you just said, was that you telling your story? Because
No.
the way you said you would approach women or girls.
An example of why not to do it. I understand. So I'm not a motivational speaker. I think that something that's more powerful than motivation is training people. So I consider myself a trainer, right? So I say your story is fine if you're trying to motivate people for something. But if you're looking to build something with someone, selling is that. You're building something with someone. I don't care if you're selling a pencil. You're building some sort of rapport and so forth. You cannot be the most important person in the equation when you're selling. And when you are, you may get buyers, but you don't get many repeat buyers. You just don't. Okay? So watch how this is. Watch how this works. When I meet you and I interact with you and you're more important and you don't even know my story, it works well. It ain't about me. Now you can learn my story. The thing I told you was an example of just how foolish I was by focusing on me, not trying to get you to do it. So your story's fine. Now, a lot of motivational speakers say that so that you can break the ice and not be so nervous. Telling your story puts you in a situation where you're talking about something you're comfortable with. I'm saying get comfortable actually caring about the person that you're talking to or the person you want to spend money with you. So before I go back to the slide, here's a reason most network marketers focus on the lowest possible package to get started with. It's because they don't know what they have and they don't know what to say. And therefore, just getting a person to sign up with something gives them satisfaction. When you really get the stuff I'm talking about, there's only one answer. I cannot help a guy who has 4 kids and he's a widower who already lost his job. I can't help him telling him to get started at the $15 or $25 level of anything. I got to ask for his commitment early on. I don't mention prices, not until I give him value. But if you don't know anything, you can't give value. Therefore, you only focus on people getting started. That's not my story. Here's the real way it goes. Get started at the highest possible level you can afford. That's the only way it comes out of this mouth, period. That's why the masses of any company always start people off at the lowest possible because they're missing the basic elements of selling because someone lied to them and said, no recruiting, just get on my team. I'm going to give you a rotator. I'm going to give you a link. So therefore, everybody gets in the very bottom. And guess what? They get bottom results and often they'll blame the company they got started with. Did that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, who would have thought
Dwayne, just one little comment. I'm so sorry, Andy from the UK.
Okay.
Um,
Go ahead, Andy.
Pa- Pastor Roy, I don't know Pastor Roy. I've met him on here a few times, and it's lovely to meet you, sir. He learnt what he is not selling, but saying to people by being a pastor. He had to learn before he could produce that and to other people to help them. So that is a type of selling
Mm-hmm.
in religion, in that sense that you learn the Bible, you learn all about religion and so on. And then if he couldn't produce that to the people for them to believe in him, they wouldn't believe in the religion in the first place. I can
Yeah.
tell from hearing him and looking at him, he's a sincere man and he can explain that to people because he totally believes in it. If he
Hey,
didn't, nobody else would believe in that and nobody would go to that church. They'd go somewhere else. Simple.
bro, Andy, let me tell you something. You see, remember where I started off in the baseline of the model? What you just said sums it up. He has to know what he has first. Then he knows what to say as a pastor. Then he knows what to do. It's just how it works. This is where everybody goes wrong. The average person in a company, if you ask them any question in even a little depth about their company, about their products or anything, they don't know it. They haven't even done it. Let me give you guys a tip. Let me tell you something. I have a little less than 24 clients out here, right, that have their own companies. These are people that we build their systems for. Did you know that about 80% of any company, the average person logs in once or none the entire month? No wonder people don't know. So I'm telling you, I know the data, I know the metrics. So same thing, he's a pastor. Let me tell you something. The average person, their Bible collects dust on the table all year long, and it doesn't get read until they get to church. The average person doesn't even say anything to God unless they're eating a quick meal and until they get to church. So let me tell you something. It's real throughout nature. And what you're saying is absolutely correct. And that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, you already do this stuff in your personal life. And so we got to the purpose of the question, the person's response, what it actually does, and what you've got to do with the answer. I gave you a couple examples of what you do with the answer. Did I lose anyone on those before I go to the next slide? What to do when they answer you.
Good. Validate them.
Yeah, you validate them, and then what they told you tells you what to say next, not what you have in your script. I hate scripts. Now, here's the danger. This is going to be tough, okay? And it's about the close of the sale. Don't be disturbed with me if much of what the person hears is your name and not theirs. Most of what they see is you and not them. Most of what they know is about you and not them. This part doesn't happen. When I'm talking to someone about selling something, I've said their names so much. When they associate with me, they associate me with familiarity and someone that actually knows and cares, and they're a part of it. I've made them a part of it. If you get to my page and you see my name and me everywhere, that is not branding for a sale. That's corporate branding. That is not good when it comes to this kind of thing. They can see you for comfort to know who you are, but they shouldn't see you everywhere. So the close is really key. When the close is about them, it becomes well. I don't want to jump the gun. Let me just go and show you. You end up building. Whoa, blah, blah. I always clip too many times. You build a bridge from where the prospect is back to you. That's what happens. You know, when you're doing all the talking, and they see lots of photos of you, they learn how many times you got touchdowns and all that stuff, and then they see your name all the time. When you get to this part, you've built a bridge, but you built the bridge from you to them. When it's all about you and your company, all about you and your company product, and it's all about you and your name and your face and all that, when it's always all about that, the bridge was built in the wrong direction for a close. You might build yourself a cold or a warm prospect, but you want to get a close? You got to build the bridge from them to you. If you have any questions about this part, you got to ask it, because I'm just trying to make it plain. This is where the sales don't happen for you.
That is so true.
Rhonda. Oh, go ahead, Andy B.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying that is such a true sentence.
It
What do the
is.
gurus do? The guru puts their face, their pictures, everything else, and they're using foul language to get your attention. They want to show you their car, they want to show you their stuff, and the only thing you can get with them, they get a one-time sale. You'll spend that $20,000 one time with them, then you say, those grapes are sour anyway. But no, they don't get long-term. The average new internet marketer, right, and the average millennial, here's where they end up, typically. They have to keep building their list, because the old list, nobody's still there. You got to build bridges from the person back to you, not the other way around. Naja, you were saying something.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
It was
Yep.
actually Rhonda.
Okay, go ahead, Rhonda, please.
One more example on the building the bridge from them to you. Just what?
Yeah. So let me help you out with that. That's a good question. So if I'm building a bridge from you to me, and I'm prospecting you, in the time I'm prospecting you, I've asked you a question about your life. What is it you're looking to gain from business? When I know that, right? I say, Rhonda, tell me. It's not for everybody, and I know you know that. But clearly, being unemployed is not for everybody either, and I know what you've been through. What's the reason you want to get involved with business? No, but go ahead, give me a fake answer or any kind of answer you want. I want to demonstrate this fully.
Oh, I want to free up my time.
Okay, yeah, more time. That's a good response. As I think about how quickly time goes. I'm older. So now I'm older. I was like, time goes by like this. It's the next day. So I get that. But I can give you some encouragement. With this business, Rhonda, when you give it the right respect, you don't just get more time, you get more money that you can do things on purpose with your time. I'm a person, Rhonda, that I learned the hard way that I'm not really free of my time unless I'm free financially. I had to learn that. And so what I can tell you, Rhonda, is if you get started with this business, in my team, this is just the way I do it. I don't know how anyone else does it. We'll work hard with you. We'll match what you're doing. If you're trying, if you could give it a few hours a week, Rhonda, we can give that to you as well. So we want to make sure everybody that joins with us is successful. But if you don't want to be, we let go. We're not going to fool around. I don't even want you to even think of joining with us if you're not going to give it that kind of commitment, Rhonda. Does that make sense?
Powerful, yes. Thank you.
Hey, Rhonda, I want to ask you this. I didn't think about it till now. I'm thinking about one of the other people on our team. I love to do this. Rhonda, she didn't even think it was possible. And did you know she's always been in the top 3 producers of our team? And she's in a similar situation. She's not in the same situation as you, but I thought that might encourage you. If you don't mind, if you don't find it presumptuous, maybe I can connect you later in case you have questions for her.
Absolutely, I love that.
Okay, so now Rhonda, here's what I did. The bridge I built was from you to me. Not only don't you know what I drive, you don't even know what the heck I wear, right? But what's really cool is you heard your name how many times?
Oh, several.
That's the way I talk anyway, but I do it because I learned how to sell. But it's not just that. Everything I said in my words was all about you and your situation. Now you're not joining a stranger. You're not giving your money to someone. You're putting your money into something that you're responsible for. It just changed the entire paradigm. You're not giving your money over to someone and hoping I can trust this person. No, I never asked for your money, not once. If you want to get started with our team, we're going to work to help you. I made sure it's always your responsibility. I know what to say because I know what I have. And I know, watch how cool this is. When it gets to the close, I don't have a lot of work to do because I built the bridge then. A lot of you wait till you're trying to close someone in the cell, and now it's funky. It's like all we did all day was, watch how cool, how weird this is going to sound weird, Rhonda. Please don't, it don't mean it the way it sounds, but watch this. If you're with someone all day and you're working with them, you're working on a conveyor belt, you're boxing things up at Amazon, and then at the end of the day, he goes, hey, would you like to come over tonight and spend the night with me? Would that be weird?
Absolutely. Wait, hold on.
Exactly. All of a sudden. So what happens in this prospecting?
Dr. Phil.
What'd she say? Oh yeah. Shut. But watch this though. Here's what's crazy. This happens in selling. You guys, the entire time you've talked about yourself, and then at the end of it, you want to ask someone to spend $1,500 or $2,000 with you, and you think they're saying no to you. And you know what they say? Well, how do I know this is not a scam? Because you set them up for it. Because it's not about them. That's why they think it's a scam. Well, how much are you making? They're asking that because, wait a minute, this is all about you. So what are you doing? You flip. I'm just trying to tell you how to close a sale. And you don't close the sale. The sale gets closed early on when you start talking to them, when you start asking the right questions. So some of you know, I've got to share my screen. I thought I was sharing my screen. Hang on a second. How do I get back to this? Some of you know how weird I am about funnels and things like that. I don't like a lot of photos and videos and names. I think it's good to have one. If someone does, if it's raw, if it's guerrilla marketing, and you don't know who's going to be seeing it, they should know who you are. But I'm not a big fan of having my page with Dwayne Golden all over it, because now I'm kind of become one of those people, and I can't engage them. I want on my page now. I'm old fashioned. I'm going to say, for those grandmothers, retirees, those of you that are single parents, this is for you. We can help you. My whole page, that's what my pages are always going to say. It's going to be about them. So I'm not a big, most people consider in the network, in the internet marketing world, they may see me as a loser, not knowing I'm really winning on the back end, because I never look for new people. I got the same old people. In fact, if you look on this page, several here are 5, 7 years. I'm looking at you since the day one, the day we opened our business, Jose, because it's not about that. So your question about the building the bridge, it happens on pages and in email messages too. Andy already told you, if you got an email from me today, I'm talking about, I mentioned that I was sick, but I kept mentioning your name and letting you know what we're going to do today so I can help train you. And so that's what it's about. Let me go ahead out and get back to this slideshow, because I got a little carried away, yo. Let me go ahead and.
Can I go and work with Rhonda on a conveyor belt packing boxes for Amazon, just so that I can ask her out?
Yeah. Hey, look, Rhonda, you got look. He's going to give you his house key if you're not careful.
See, I already built a bridge just by listening to you two.
Okay. Okay.
Outstanding.
So you build a bridge from them to you, not you to them. It's got to be that way. The person becomes the most important person in the conversation, verbally, email, website, whatever it is, video. It's about them, not you. Them. If a lot of you told the truth, the reason you're here has nothing to do with me. A lot of you know that. If you're here today and you're just listening to this, or those of you who are watching it on YouTube or something, you're watching it because this whole entire thing is about you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't care if you join my program or not. I've mentioned other programs on here. I don't care what they are, because this will help you to be successful. This is bigger than any company. This part is bigger than any product that you have. When you fix this, it doesn't matter what company you run to. Oops. Did you catch that? So now, when you spend more time working on you than you do products, and when you spend more time working on you than you do other companies, this stuff becomes innate. And what happens as a result? Selling, closing the sale becomes the product, byproduct. It becomes the end result. You don't have to focus on getting the sale. It happens. The question isn't if you get a sale. The question is how many. That's the nature of how this works. Can I give you the visual? You guys would like a visual what the close of the sale looks like?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Here's the visual. Did I close that? Can you see me? You guys see me? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I want to see.
Yes, we can see you.
When you make value this big and you make price this big, people always buy. Here's a virtual. I gave you a visual, and here's the virtual. I spend my entire conversation with Rhonda talking about her, in which in this industry, nobody does. So there's some value there. I'm expanding it. And I tell her how, in spite of what she's gone through, for just a few hours a week, she can now begin to make the kind of money she did on her job. I'm giving more value. Now, all of a sudden, by the time she gets started, by the time I give her, by the time she knows the price seems this small. It shrank. Where you guys go wrong is you leave with price this big and you give value this big, and you think that people don't want to buy from you. They just don't. The answer is no. They don't know anything. They don't have. There's no value given. There's only prices in names of product. In name of your product. Now, I'm going to stop for a minute because I think it's important for you guys to be able to engage what you've taken in. So here's a question. Give me an aha, something that came to you that you picked up on today. It's like, it's an aha moment for you. Like, oh, okay, I can see that. Or maybe you see yourself being able to do it.
I will.
Please, whoever said that.
This is Naja.
Yes, Naja.
Okay, a aha moment for me just now was when you said how people, when they first do things, they give their story about how long they was in business, what happened to them, and what brought them to this point. So basically talking about themselves first, not giving the person the value to even make them want to engage and stay engaged with you, because it could turn them off because you're constantly talking about yourself instead of them. So now, I guess like my approach would be not to even put anything down about myself or talk about myself.
You just have to keep it in perspective, right? So you got the right idea now. Make most of it about them. That's what they need to know who you are, right? But just
Right.
don't overdo that.
Oh, okay.
So Naja, let me help you out for a second. So watch how powerful this is. Suppose we just met and I asked a question about something on your Facebook and you asked me to inbox you. And before you know anything about me, you tell me your story, but you don't even know mine. You don't know that I need to find a business because I'm heartbroken. I just lost my daughter to an accident and she was only 7. My wife is left and I'm by myself and I only have a little bit of money. But because you're so excited about what you might get in this sale, you start telling me about your story. And then you ask me to join you in your business, but you don't even take time to learn. Do you understand? Do you get the sense of what's happening when the bridge is built the wrong way?
Absolutely.
You might get me, even if I don't have the money, if you take time to know me, because I'll borrow it from my brother and my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
But when all I hear about is you, and I'm heartbroken, I don't have a daughter anymore. I don't have a wife anymore. My friends don't like me. They're blaming me because she fell in the pool. And now I just want to get something started. And all I got to do is hear about you and how great you're doing and seeing that fancy car on your Facebook page and what you drive and get to hear how smart you are. Do you see where why this whole industry is flipped? It's gone nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And why everybody is making fake money. That's why the average guru out there that tells you that they made 200,000 here, they made 600,000 there. If they showed you the real deal, you would be shocked, because here's what I'm going to teach you. Get this in your heads. People that have money don't do that. People that have money don't care if you know or what you know. People that don't have any will always flaunt it. So a trick for you. If somebody has to tell you how much they're making and show you what they drive and put you inside their swimming pool, inside their second or third house, well, guess what? There's some things there that are missing. And I'm going to tell you something. What you want to happen when you talk to someone, you don't care what they got. You want to be. If they're looking to sign you up and get your hard-earned money, they better care about you first. Or they're not capable of serving. They're not capable of helping you. How can they help you? They don't even know what they're talking to. They don't know that you have 6 months to live. Have you ever been prospecting someone? Here's what I've experienced. I've prospected people who only had 6 months to live. I've done that before. I've prospected someone who wasn't sure. They were considering taking their life. If you're always about you, you can never know that. Now you think they're saying no to your business and your product, and really you just didn't give them a fair chance. Thank you, Naja. That was a good aha.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Someone else? Thank you, Naja. That was great. Does anyone else have an aha? There was a moment that where it clicked for you. Now you can actually have a shift, and there's no longer will you do it a certain way, but you're going to do it in a way where you involve the person.
Well, just off the cuff or based on what you just said, it kind of explains a lot why success has not been there, let alone sustaining success.
Okay.
And what I often, while you were talking, I often thought about, even with myself, let me start with myself, that I would join something because it sounded good, or they were taking something away from me. And I was just happy being in the room. But there was no sense of commitment, or I would look at it because by the time you really focus, you're on to the next thing because somebody else in the crazy world are bringing you one or two different things. That easy thing, that thing that you can make the most money. You don't have to do a lot. You just pay your $25. You don't have to recruit. You just get in this. And then people are doing the crazy, it's the same thing. And then I just couldn't understand it. And then everybody broke. I'm like, I'm confused. But they're running after the one person that says that they have this. So I'm like, this is what do they call a one-trick pony show?
Yeah.
So and then I think a lot of what I've learned is that people don't care how smart I am. People don't care how, do you care about me? And I've spent a lot more time trying to educate and train, break it down, know the ins and outs and all that. And people don't really care. I won't say they don't care about that, but like you said, you have to talk to people like they're on the 5th or 6th grade level. And so just because you're a certain way, that does not mean that the average person is like that. So even if they join you, it won't be necessarily, I won't say lasting, or you don't have a connection because you don't know how to build relationships and build community. Because that's all it is community.
Jackie, that was powerful. And it's interesting. You're one of those people that I met on a Zoom. I never met you face to face. I don't think I met anybody. I met one of you here face to face. I think. I don't know who's here left. I can't see who else here. But anyway, to make a long story short, that was powerful. And even in our communication, you didn't even know it's natural. I'm not doing it on purpose, but do you hear your name a lot if I'm talking to you?
Yes.
Do you have any question if I care at the end of the day?
Oh, well, I know because you don't necessarily have anything in it. So that's how a person.
Do you know the question is yes or no? Do you have any doubt if I care about you as an individual or not?
No, I have no doubt. No.
Do you have any idea? Do you have any indication about my bank accounts, how many homes I have, or where when I'm driving? Do you have, because it's not needed. You were important. And this is where you guys can get this. So I'm going to give you a biblical. I've given you a physical, a virtual, and now I'm going to give you a biblical. So in a biblical model, Christ came to the world. No matter what your belief is, just follow the history for now, okay? And when he came, he had his focus, right, on something. But before they could hear him, he talked about them. So when he runs into the sick, in order for them to hear about this heaven and so forth that he has, and about their life and about what he has to offer them, he gave them. He meets the woman at the well, he gives her water, but he gives her more. He meets the man with the withered hand, right? He heals it so he can stretch out. He meets the blind man. He is meeting their needs at their level. He built a bridge from them to him, and the multitudes followed. Great people do that. Dr. King, he just had a birthday recently, right? He built a bridge from the people he served back to himself. His selflessness went so far at the age of 39, he knew it. He said, I'm probably not going to get there with you, right? He had so many death threats, but his service was so powerful, the multitudes followed. Gandhi, without him, India does not have a separation in their freedom from Great Britain. They don't separate to be Pakistan and India without him giving his life for his population of people. The greatest people in history, we always remember them because they gave themselves first. We don't remember the overnight success gurus who are here for a moment, only to be doing whatever else later. Though you want to put a dent in your legacy, build wealth, serving people, it's lasting. And those people don't forget it, and they always go with you. And long after you're gone, that will scream on. So I think it's really key for you guys. If the biggest walk away from selling that I want you to leave with is, let me see if this is close of the sale. Baseline of selling. No, I don't know where I'm at. Good, I got it. So the big to do is going to be that this selling becomes the byproduct. And you don't have to focus on it. You focus on the person, you get the metrics. Now, the metrics are like this. You never get turned down again when you set market this way. No one ever tells you no. It doesn't happen. They stop asking you how much you make. They stop asking you if it's a scam. They always think it's a scam when you lead with it first, but when you lead with them and it's about them, you never, these things just don't happen. The other derivatives are those. They give you the information the entire time of the conversation about them that you need so they can be closed. And the beautiful thing is 100% of the people will never say no. They may say, when I get paid, not yet, I'm between jobs, but they never say no. I can't tell you the beauty of that. I can just tell you that now you're going to become a better person by being a good salesperson, not the opposite. Most people think you have to become slimy to be a good salesperson. You get to become a better person. What's a perspective? When the person's first, their words are the most important. You're asking the right questions. Your funnels, rotators, and ads and processes can become powerful when these things are first. The person, their words, and the kind of questions you're asking will make what you're doing with funnels, rotators, ads, and all your processes will become magical. When you put all the other stuff first, unfortunately, they're quite anemic. Now, the things I've given you today will help each of us become better parents, spouses, pastors, leaders, grandfathers, grandmothers. You get to become better at all of those because the things I pulled today for you are biblical principles about being a human being. And that will make you better. Now, selling now is not a job. It's just you being natural. So when I talk to Brother Walden, I can talk to Brother Walden. And my thing doesn't come up. Where he's going, the thing will come up, but it's not going to come up until he's ready for it to come up. Oh, Lord.
So, Wayne.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, doing.
Yes,
now,
sir.
I'm here for maybe slightly different reason. First, I really wanted to know who was the person who conceptualized the company.
Okay.
Because somehow it was in abstraction.
Okay.
I also wanted to know exactly what the products were. Because let's say the person who recruited me, I came because I knew the person. There was not enough information for me to understand it. What was I really selling? What was I doing?
That's right. That's right. Did you guys hear that? This is what I'm telling you. What you experience isn't just with you. It's with 99% of the people in the marketplace. The person who recruited you didn't have the, let me go back to, I'm answering your question. I'm responding to your statement because I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Brother Walden. So check this out. Let me go back there if I can get there. Here we go. So watch this. I'm going to go, stop it, Dwayne. There you go. Hello in there. Yeah, 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 yeah. They didn't know enough. So they said the wrong thing. Then they did the wrong thing. They signed you up for something because you knew them. When they know enough, based on the questions that they've asked, here now, you're going to tell them enough information. They're going to teach you about the products because they know them. A person don't know about the products can't teach you anything about them.
Yeah.
Now,
You're so correct.
So now, and when they ask you questions, they're going to know If someone's prospecting you and they don't know where you live, I don't mean this exact address, but they don't know at least what state or town you live in, and they don't know something about either your age or what you do for a living. They don't know about if you're married or single. Well, I don't know what they're prospecting. They're trying to sign themselves up for something because you got to know about the people. How can I offer you an autoresponder if I don't know anything about you? How can I offer you a page builder? I got to know about you to see if it's even, that may not even be for you. So Walden, golly, I love it, man. See, you ain't got to say a lot, but what you say, Brother Walden, is powerful. Thank you. I hope all of you heard that. It's the epidemic. It's like a teenager, a 9-year-old giving birth and doesn't know how to nurture that baby. So the baby starts growing up and doesn't know about life. That baby that the 9-year-old gave, because no one's there to nurture it, it decides to walk in front of cars or trucks and get run over. It hasn't been equipped. What's happening in network marketing is a person joins a link and here's about a product, company name and a product, and they get someone to sign up for it. Then that person signs up, and now that new person that's not been nurtured and taught or trained is being called lazy when they're not lazy. They have been ill-equipped. They focused on things and not the people. Wow, Brother Walden, woo, you got me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hold on.
What I can say, I'm happy that I really came to this session because at least I see who the person is, the concept behind what it is.
Okay.
You know, because I'm hearing about autoresponders, I'm hearing about that, I'm hearing about so on. And I say, how do it link up? The upline will tell me. But when nobody knows how, right.
We're selling without knowing. Selling without knowing, Walden. That's what happens when all we need is a link to give someone. And I hope the rest of you guys hear this. What happens when you sign someone up and they have questions, but no one's asked them the right question so they can get that information from them, and they sit. How long have you been signed up for the company, brother? I'm curious. How long? A week?
No, could be about 6-8 weeks.
6 or 8 weeks. Trust me, it doesn't take much to be guilty of this. You don't want to make people a notch in the belt. You're not responsible to teach what you don't know, but you're responsible to know more. You're responsible to know more. You're responsible to know more. You don't have to teach what you don't know, but you start there. Hey man, right now, all I know is how to log in. Let me help you. Oh, I just learned something today, Walden. I didn't mean to bug you, but I just learned something new about the company. I found this video on YouTube. They show me all about setting up my autoresponder. I'm going to start watching it. Why don't you watch it too? Here's what sickens my stomach. People believe the only way to get things is to create drama. We call it ghetto drama in America, for those of you in the UK. I don't know how to do it. Nobody's going to You haven't spent, it takes no time to go find out how. So here's what happens. We have a lot of people born and they're not being raised and taught what to do. So now we're complaining that too many people are going to jail and too many are being arrested. This is what's happening in network marketing. We've got to fix it. You don't deserve to have a person sponsored if you're not willing to help them to get going. You don't deserve it. You don't have to do the work for them, but all you did was get somebody to give you money. If you don't get that, you missed the whole point of this entire session. Walden, you're a godsend. Here's what I'm gonna do, my brother. Put your email address in there. I got some things that I'm gonna send you to make sure you have what you need.
Yeah, I put it on there
too.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna put my phone number in there too. There's no reason for this. And don't worry, if you think you're not guilty of it, trust me, the people you sponsored are going through the same exact thing. Most of you, because most do this, and you can fix it today. Got it. Smith Walden.
Dwayne, I've got a question, well, a comment actually. Andy from the UK.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Andy.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant what you've done, and totally believe everything of what you're saying, and we're all going to put that into motion. Things I've found in the past, people will, once you start becoming their friend, you suddenly become their friend for life. They're not going to sign up with you. They just want to chat to you for the end of the earth. They will message you every day, 20 hours a day. When is the point you suggest that you give up on them as a prospect?
Well, several things. I think that someone is always a prospect just by nature, not because you want to keep them there. But you have to have both the mother and father inside of you, right? Which means, hey, look, I'm busy with my business right now. Like, I don't have time right now, but I hope all of it's going well with you. Just to be harsh with them. If you're not going to do business with me, why don't you do this on Saturdays? I'm usually pretty freed up, but I can't stop to talk with you in the middle of the day. I'm building a legacy for my family and things are going extremely well. So please, I don't want to sound rude, but why don't you do this? And I've usually between 5 and 6 on a Saturday, I usually have a free time because right now I'm in the glitch of it. Our market's going crazy. I personally would tell someone, if they don't have anything to say, if they don't want anything, I'm good. They can say, make comments. I don't have to answer back. But I think it's wise for people to realize that wasting time is not fair. Even if my own brother is doing it, if my father or my son is doing it, I'm going to tell him, look, son, it's not a
Yep,
good
yep,
time.
yep, absolutely.
Be tough. Be tough.
I just wondered your option on it. That's exactly what I do. I will give them 2 or 3 days, and if there's absolutely no sign there of a buying signal, then I will just start saying to them, then please look at the chat, um, watch the webinars, and so on. I'm really busy with this. I'm making so much money, and try and walk away. Is that correct?
Yeah, but let me tell you something, just so you know, those people do join though. Here's what you guys don't know. When you use the model I'm giving you, they don't have to join today, right? They may not even join this opportunity, but when you have the one that matters the most, that's when that person comes. You know what? Out of all the people I dealt with, I trust you. You have been there. I wasn't ready then. I just wasn't in the right space at that time. Dwayne, what do you have? I really know you're so consistent. You're still doing the exact same thing. I know. What can you do? This is my story, just to help you. You can, Andy, these same people, if you're Kurt, if you're consistent, not now, I can't just randomly talk. If you don't need anything, if you just want to say something nice, send me the text. When I'm free, I will definitely respond back. But they do come back around. You don't have to get rid of them. They just
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's. I was thinking that, but it does really annoy you, doesn't it? At some point,
Yes.
when it
Well,
goes
it
on
annoys
and
me.
on. But yeah, and I've only deleted a couple of people who, as you do, they get really nasty towards the end, so I just block them. The rest of them, some I've been friends with for 5, 6 years, and now they've joined up with me on different programs.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, that connection was made. I've even got a business partner I met 5 years ago, and we started our own company after 5 years of not speaking. But that connection was made, like you said. There was a bridge built both ways.
I'm going to give you guys one last visual. I think you deserve it. And I am not going to record this part because I don't think it's fair for certain names that are out there. So
because of who you are, people want to be around you, and that's why they consistently call. Just like Dwayne, and just like with David, we have that in us, and I love what you have here, Dwayne, when it says, "Go with nature, go with who we are," and in turn, people will follow, or at least give us an opportunity to show them, speak to them. So,
yes, sir. That's good stuff, Pastor Roy.
commend you.
I got to say this to you, each of you, is that what he's saying is it's true. It's not even about, it's just the value that we call it the big V in the industry. And the average network marketer or home business person doesn't make $300 a month. If you guys want the truth, at the end of 12 months, if you average it out, the average one doesn't make $300. That's because it's about them and not the V. If you're going to do this year after year and make really good money, you can't do it being selfish. If you're narcissistic and everything is about you everywhere you go, trust me, you're probably you're the most important person in your life. The outcome is there. You want to do well, make sure that the most important person you're talking to is the other side of the eyeballs. You're already taken care of. See, when you give, Zig Ziglar said it, when you give people what they need, you can have everything you want. Be smart about it. God bless you guys. Thank each of you for being here. You
Pastor
guys know
Roy, I'm sorry, Dwayne. Just before you go, I'm so sorry to butt in. Pastor Roy, thank you so much for your kind words. And Dwayne, you are an absolute ambassador of everything in networking and marketing. I joined your company with the lowest fee. You have given so many webinars and things. You don't need to do that. You could just sit back and watch other people make you money. But no, you keep going and pushing and pushing and pushing. And that is commendable, sir. Absolutely commendable. We love you to pieces, and I will be here on every webinar. And God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Andy, and each of you here today. I know it's not as easy for everyone, depending on where you are, but I would tell you, you can do it. Change it. Change you. The rest of the stuff changes. You don't need any special gurus or any new companies to pop up. You can. It's independent of the company. Remember that. Remember, it's not about anything that I have. It's about what you do with it, and you're going to go. And so just keep that in mind. God bless you guys. Looking forward to hearing more about your success. Have a good day. Take care.
And you too.
Bye
And
now.
thanks for, right.